The Prime Minister's ArriveScan app is not worth the cost or the corruption to Canadians. Today, the Auditor General informed us that ArriveScan, an app that was supposed to cost $80,000, will now cost Canadians a minimum of $60 million. It gets worse. Due to documentation that the AG says was deleted or destroyed, it could be more than $60 million. Wow. She doesn't know who worked on ArriveScan, if the work was fulfilled to requirements, or if it was even completed at all. So why did the Prime Minister rig the process so that insiders get rich and taxpayers foot the bill?
The honourable member for Public Security.
Again, Mr. Speaker, repeating the last part of my honourable friend's question does not make it true.
Nope.
What is true, Mr. Speaker, is that at the moment contracting practice irregularities were identified, the Border Services Agency took all of the steps appropriate to determine exactly what were the facts and to hold those responsible to account in the case that that's necessary. Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General identified a series of contracting practices that were not followed. The government does not condone that behavior and has taken all the steps to make sure that those circumstances don't repeat themselves.
The honourable member from Calgary-Midnaport.
Every word I say is true, and that member knows it. The Prime Minister's ArriveScan app is not worth the cost or corruption. Contractors were paid over $1,000 a day, even though 18% of the invoices for these contracts had no supporting documentation. So we don't even know if the contractors completed the work. GC Strategies pocketed almost $20 million and yet completed no work themselves. It gets worse. They wrote the requirements for the $25 million contract that they won. Simple question for the Prime Minister. How is he going to get our money back?
The honourable member, the honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, once again, the Auditor General identified some contracting practices that were clearly not followed. Mr. Speaker, under no circumstance is that an acceptable circumstance. Governments have responsibility to manage taxpayers' funds in the most effective way possible. That's why we have accepted all of the Auditor General's recommendations. And the good news, Mr. Speaker, is the Border Services Agency and the Procurement Department had already begun to act and put in place a number of oversight measures before the Auditor General's report, and we look forward to fully implementing everything that she suggested.